Hello, people of God. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Naja. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. And I pray that you hear something that's going to bless your spirit, that's going to cause you to want to subscribe. Welcome, welcome. And I also want to say thank you to those who continue to come back, that support. I am super grateful for you. So guys, today, before getting started, what I would like to do is, because it really just irks me to the core, okay, when I see agents of Satan that are doing the enemy's work and coming against the people of God. It really bothers me to my core. However, I know that the people of God will be vindicated, and I know that those who are coming against God's people will reap the reward of following Satan and doing his deeds for him. So if you are following me on TikTok, please make sure that you are following the correct channel, okay? On TikTok, my channel or username is The Cloud and the Fire. It doesn't have ministry at the end, but there are two fake pages, and I have had so many people to try to report the page because they are stealing my content and then have a link for people to actually click on and get messages like that they're providing that's divination, okay? And you know, I don't play that. So I will not relent in prayer to cause every altar associated with those fake pages to come crumbling down, and they will. They will not have any effect on the people who are, you know, unwillingly following those pages, and it will not have any effect on my ministry either, because I know the God that I serve. But I need you guys' help, that if you are on TikTok, to please go to these pages here that I will put at the bottom of the screen, okay? One has a 0 at the end, the other has a underscore at the end. I have since changed my profile picture so that it is different from those two. And in my profile picture, it has official page in red in the picture, okay? And I will change it every day if I have to, so that people are able to tell the difference. I have 29.3 thousand followers on TikTok. These other pages, this is how you will always know they have a lot less followers. So one page is, I think, 2,000 followers. The other one is like 600 followers. But the fact that they have any followers at all under a fake page is, you know, it just is crazy to me. So if you happen to be on TikTok, I greatly appreciate you going to these fake pages and reporting them, okay? All right, guys. So before we get started, well, I think that's really all that I really had to update you guys on, because that was in my spirit today, to take care of that and to cast those altars down, to break them down. They will come crumbling down, trust me. I have a very short word for you today, but because it is short, I might just intertwine some other conversation mixed in with it for you guys. So I can knock out some information that I know that I wanted to discuss with you guys. So jumping right in this word, I received this word on December the 4th. The Lord first started me out by showing me that you need to make sure that you do not go ahead of him. Do not go ahead of God. Many people, and I was a victim of this for so long, okay? Going ahead of God. And it doesn't matter whether you are going ahead of God in reference to something he said that you were supposed to be working on, something he said you were going to be moving into, whether he said you're going to move to another state, or whatever it is that God may have spoken to you that you are supposed to be doing. Do not go ahead of God, okay? I feel like that part of this word is a little bit separate from the rest of the word, somewhat. But when you go ahead of God, we don't realize that when we're ahead of him, we're out of his will, if that makes sense. You're somewhat out of his will when you move ahead of him. You're trying to do things without his help or without him bringing the door and opening the door. So let me just give you a quick testimony in reference to this. And I've mentioned this in 2 other videos about the open door, okay, and 12:12. So whenever, and I prayed about this specifically, might have been maybe 4 days ago now, and I specifically said, because I have a habit of when God reveals something to me in a dream or a vision, I'm like, oh, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. Let me start researching. Let me go buy this. Let me go do this. And I'm going to make this come alive. I'm going to, do everything I can so that I can make this happen. God is saying, stop doing that. Instead, open your mouth and begin to speak to him that the door that he is going to open in that area is going to be evident and it's going to be clear. That he is going to bring the door to you. You won't have to go looking for the opportunity and the door. So for example, when it came to my photography, that the Lord spoke to me more than one time that I was supposed to be going back into photography, several visions that he would give me in my study time. I went outside of God in the beginning. After seeing that, I'm like, okay, God, I'm immediately like, well, where are the clients going to come from? I'm starting to create flyers and do this and do that. Then I go online on Amazon and I'm realizing, okay, I need equipment. So rewind, before I go on Amazon and start thinking about the fact that I need certain type of equipment, the Lord had already given me a vision that it wasn't actually a vision, but I heard it. It was a conversation that I was having with someone. And the person was telling me that the equipment was $5,000. And I knew that it was photography equipment. But the person said, just give me what you have. So the Lord was like revealing to me, you will not have to worry about equipment. It's going to be pretty much given to you. Okay. And so instead of me paying attention to that and waiting on God to do that, I end up going and trying to buy that equipment, looking for certain things and deals and whatever the case may be. But when I realized that what I was doing was still going ahead of God, I sent it back. And the moment that I sent what I purchased back, because I realized once I got it, just, what I had purchased wasn't even what I thought it was. So when I got it, I had to send it back. 2 different things. And I said, you know what? Am I going against or ahead of God again? Let me send this back. In the moment I sent it back, the Lord sent an opportunity to me that I will be able to go into without ever having to buy not one piece of equipment. So see, this is an example of what going ahead of God looks like. And when we're obedient in that and we get out of his way, then we allow him to do his work. And we're not wasting precious time. We're not wasting precious money. Okay? We're not inviting in the opportunity for the enemy to come in and steer us really in the wrong direction instead of the direction that God desired. A lot of us are obviously doing that. We have to make sure that we're not doing that, okay? Now, outside of that message, the Lord revealed to me in Numbers 21, where the Canaanites were defeated at RHEMA. The Lord listened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. They destroyed the people and all they built. Okay? So the Lord is bringing justice. He's bringing justice. Justice is on its way. Okay? And this is because of the destruction of innocence is happening. Justice is on its way because of the destruction of innocence that is taking place. There are two reasons that is necessary, okay? The people have reached the point of no return in their depravity. They have reached the point of no return in their sin, in their abominable practices. All right? And if the people of God continue to live within and beside the wickedness and the people that are practicing their abominations, they too would be infected with their wickedness. So that is a part of the reason that a lot of justice is coming to our land. Okay? And I won't say which land because the Lord did not personally speak that to me. So I will not add to it. He spoke about the dysfunctional family. In 1 Samuel 3:13, I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knows, because his sons made themselves vile, and he did not restrain them. Therefore I have sworn to their house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be atoned for by sacrifice or offering forever. Okay? So when our children do things that are wicked and outside of the Lord's law and the covenant of God, we are to restrain them. We are to correct them. We are to punish them. Or depending on the age, we are to correct them by teaching them, by sitting them down, by letting them know what it was that they did wrong, causing them to come into a place of repentance, teaching them the right way to renounce and come out of agreement, getting them deliverance, whatever it is that they are in need of. But when you let things go, you let them slide, you just let them live within their wrongdoing, then your household would be judged for that. Okay? And that dysfunctional family, when things like that happen, they grow up and they have the same dysfunction in their own families. 1 Kings 11:1, Solomon broke God's law by mingling with the pagans around him, rather than leading the Israelites in maintaining separateness from the other nations. And it says that David was also guilty. Let me get my notes. Okay, so in the notes it says, the writer of Kings indicates in the first 2 chapters that David was also guilty of these infractions on a smaller scale. David married foreign women, resulting in a household in disarray. And he included pagan mercenaries in his troops. So the importance of something like this, the Lord does not take it very lightly that you have a responsibility, especially over people, that you are to be leading and you are to be receiving guidance from the Lord to lead these people or to be an example to the people. And you are mixing and mingling with those who practice wickedness. The word says that there should not even be an appearance of evil. And if you are mingling with those who are wicked, mingling with those who practice witchcraft, mingling with those who are in full-blown idolatry, mingling with those who are in full adultery, okay, then it will look as though you are partaking in the same lifestyle. So it is very important that, and the purpose of that is not just about how it looks. The purpose of that is when you mingle with wickedness and things that are outside of what is considered righteous, it makes it easy for you to put yourself in a position to compromise. And if you put yourself in a position to compromise, sometimes you may compromise not even realizing that you're compromising. Whether you're doing something like gossiping, whether you are taking in the mindset of something that you are listening to and come into agreement with it, not even realizing that you're coming into agreement with it. Okay. Now, I was listening to Tony Gaskins, okay? And I like Tony Gaskins because Tony Gaskins he doesn't care what nobody thinks, okay? He's going to teach the real, and because he is a believer in Christ, and he's going to call it what it is. So I was listening to one of his recent videos, maybe a week or so ago, and one thing that he said was the reason why you have to be careful about the term that people use, when you listen to someone that probably is also speaking heresy or speaking things that are not good or that are negative, that you shouldn't think that it's okay to listen to it to where you just take what you need and spit out the rest. Because he said, for example, he used to listen to, he tried listening to Kevin Samuels. And he said that he didn't even realize that because of the information that he was taking in from just listening, that he was subconsciously beginning to look at his wife with a side eye because of what he was listening to Kevin Samuels say about women. Because Kevin Samuels, his messages about women were very negative. It was very toxic. It was not beneficial to relationships and marriages. It was not helping the women at all, but it was belittling them. And so that little bit of time that he allowed himself to listen to him, it penetrated, and he began to not even realize that he was looking at his wife and looking at her sideways based on what he was teaching. So it is the same thing when it comes to mingling with people that are not living righteously. When you put yourself in a position to be surrounded by them, sometimes you won't even recognize that you've picked up certain habits or characteristics of those people, mindsets and belief systems. Okay? Instead, you should be the one that is influencing or being an example to them to cause them to change. And see, a lot of people like to use the excuse that, oh, Jesus, he walked with tax collectors, or he walked with sinners and whores. But the difference is that Jesus was not a sinner. So there was no way that the sinner that he was walking with could penetrate him and change him. He was there to be an example to change them. We are not Jesus. So unless the Lord has called for you to be on assignment, to be involved in this person's life, then you need to separate yourself. Be separate and set apart. As it said here, let me go back. Oh my goodness, where am I? Yes, as it says here, that Solomon literally broke the law. He broke God's law by mingling with them. rather than leading the Israelites in maintaining separateness. Separateness is extremely important. Okay. Last but not least, I saw twice where the Lord spoke about Solomon's wealth. Okay. And then I saw that there would be, or then I saw would restore the depleted royal treasury. Would restore the depleted royal treasury. Okay. So even though there is justice and there is judgment that is taking place, the people of God is going to be restored in the areas that are depleted. Specifically in the areas of your treasury, it will be restored. What is depleted is going to be restored. Okay. All right. So last but not least, because I know I've been speaking already long enough, and this is just a little something to add in. So people of God, whether you're a man of God or a woman of God, you should be practicing celibacy, or not celibacy. You should be practicing restraint in the area of sexual intercourse if you are not married. Okay. And I know that a lot of us, it kind of rolls off of our tongue to say that we're celibate. But many people don't realize what the word celibate means and what it references and refers to. So that is what I wanted to discuss with you guys very quickly. So the word celibate actually is in reference to those who have made a vow to God, like eunuchs or like nuns and monks. Okay, they have made a vow to be celibate, which is for a period of time, extended period of time, typically for their lifetime, to vow to be celibate and restraining, to dedicate their lives solely to the Lord. So what we actually should be saying is that we are abstinent instead of celibate. Abstinent, let me give you guys the actual definition so that you see the difference of what I'm saying. This is abstinence versus celibacy. Abstinence usually refers to the decision not to have penetrative sex, okay? It's typically limited to a specific period of time, such as until marriage. So you should be saying that you're abstinent, not saying celibate. Celibacy is a vow to remain abstinent over an extended period of time. For some, this may mean their entire life, okay? And as I said, a eunuch or a nun or a monk. Many of you may not know what a eunuch is, but a eunuch are people that are, they're men who have their job is basically to, is it harem? Yes. The eunuch's job is to basically guard the harem. And the harem is the part of the palace where the king's wives live, okay, where they are kept. And the reason that it's okay, or the reason that those eunuchs are celibate, they are castrated, okay? They have no private areas. Eunuchs do not have private areas. They're castrated. So they are celibate for life because they are in charge of guarding the king's wives. And the reason they have to be celibate is because it is to make sure that there is no way that their bloodline is broken because one of those eunuchs has decided to sleep with one of the wives. This is the way that the king makes sure that his wives are having his children and his children only. Okay? So those are the type of people that are considered to be celibate. Those who are eunuchs, those who are nuns or monks, and they've totally dedicated their lives. Okay, so from this point forward, let's stop speaking that we're celibate unless that is what you have been called to do and how you've been called to live. Instead, we should be saying that we are abstinent until marriage. Okay, all right, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with that for tonight, and I will see you in my next video. I love you, and thanks again for watching. Please share the video and subscribe. Bye.